Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip-hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7 on hot7025fm.com.
It's your main man 360 the Poet from the Morning Wood. And are you looking for the perfect drink? Well, you found it. Mimosa Royale is the perfect combination of California sparkling white wine and natural juice that is both tasty and refreshing. No artificial colors or flavors, no sugar added, and it's gluten-free. As the world's first ready-to-drink mimosa, Mimosa Royale is perfect for any occasion, day or night. You no longer have to drink 12 of those seltzers just to get that perfect buzz. At 8% alcohol, Mimosa Royale is the perfect drink to party with. Offered in a variety of flavors and sizes, you are bound to find a Mimosa Royale that you'll love. We have berry, mango, apple, and orange, with more flavors to come. Mimosa Royale is the most award-winning flavored wine that serves in bottles or cans. You can find them online at drinkmimosa.com or find them at your local liquor store. Ask for it by name. Mimosa Royale.
Hey, what's up?
All your favorite artists.
Check it out.
Say my name.
DJ Khaled.
This is Mila J.
Bruno Mars.
On hot7025fm.com.
What's going on, everybody? It's your main man 360 the Poet from the Morning Wood, and I'm here to talk to you about the Sci-Fi Center. It's your Vegas home for science fiction, horror, and fantasy. From comic books, toys, and posters to movie screenings and live events, they've got you covered. Located at 900 Cameron Avenue, Suite B209. Give them a call, 702-900-4335, or reach them at thescificenter.com. Uh-oh, I ain't mean to go that way. What's happening, y'all? What's happening? It's hump day! So it's time to holla at homie. And I am saying homie 360 the Poet. And we direct on hot7025fm.com, your number one spot for the Holla at the Homie segment, where we talk about everything going on under the sun. As long as you write me a letter, I'll give you something to talk about and say something back to you. But that's what we do here at hollaatthehomie@gmail.com. That's where you send those letters to make sure you get your questions answered if you do so happen to have some. What's up, Vegas Unseen? Over there on TikTok. What's happening with you? But you know what it is. This is the number one spot for advice, whether online or in person. But one thing I got to stop and rewind. It's homecoming week, dog. Get geeked. It's homecoming week. And I would say we don't go to class and we don't go to sleep. We just stayed up 24/7 the whole damn week. I remember chanting that all homecoming week, and we in the middle of it at the Tennessee State University. Y'all see it. Y'all know what it is. The TSU. We're not talking about the ones down there in Houston. No disrespect, but we the original TSU, and that's how we do things around here. We dig it, do things around here. It is. Sometimes we get turned that do not disturb. Love putting people on and quasars. What's up? What's going on with you? What's going on with everybody down there? All my people, all my tigers. What's going on, Lucy Lowe? Hey, babe. All my tigers that dawned upon what you call the land of golden sunshine. Down there, man, make sure you got your people in check. I know sometimes people like to bring other people from that have never been and be able to enjoy this. What's up, Jay Mitch? Sometimes people get a chance to bring family members that have never been to an HBCU homecoming experience. Now, if you've never been, I'm going to tell you it's a few rules that go along with that. First things first. Keep your cameras down, man. Ain't nobody trying to have all them cameras in everybody's face at all the time. We just out here hugging, saying what's happening, talking to. Somebody says, hi, Apple. What's up, Bud? That's my Bud over there talking to me through the background. But, yeah, so, you know what I'm saying? That's rule number one, man. You don't come in here trying to start no ish. And we don't want to hear about what your school had going on. We don't want to hear any of that. Because right now, when you
at our school, you had talking about our school. So if I go to your homecoming, I'm not going to tell you about Tennessee State homecoming. I'm just going to tell you about how good and much time I'm having fun at your homecoming. But now, if you come to mine, you just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. What's going on, Kaylee Autumn 89? So that's another thing. So that's rule number 2. Rule number 3 is have fun and know your limits. I tell everybody that know your limits, because just because you may have practiced drinking for the few days before you got to town. If you had not been a drinker this whole time, these 360 some odd days prior to going back to homecoming, know your limits. So if you just got to babysit a cocktail or a drink all night long, who cares who talks about you? Can't nobody tell you about your BC powders and your Alka-Seltzers and stuff you need the next day. All you got to do is know your limits. Because with those limits, what's up, Dakari Kofi? I'm gonna see you tomorrow, dog. Know your limits, man. You know what I mean? So that's all I'm gonna say to people. Make sure you understand exactly what your limitations are. What's going on, Ann Nutt? What's going on, Fernando Escobar? So that's a couple of things. That's all we got to say as far as like rules. But my main thing is, if you're gonna be down there, have a good time and don't be acting stupid. You know, we had an incident, so, prayers up for my nephew cousin, Lil Jay, who was just a victim of an incident at Jackson State's homecoming, victim of a stray bullet, 11 years old, got caught with a stray bullet. He's still alive. He's been through a couple surgeries, but that just goes as a testament to show that people can get to places and not know how to act. Who was it? It was a comedian said, I think it was Carlos from 85 South. All your parents don't say this anymore. Act like you got some damn sense. Like when you get out there, act like you got some damn sense. You know what I mean? So make sure y'all sharing and everything like that as well. So act like you got some damn sense when you out there in these streets and, you going and enjoying other people's festivities, or even if it's your own. If it's your alma mater, whoever it is, act like you got some sense and some home training. That's all we ask of the people that's coming into Nashville for this here weekend, to act like you got some sense, because that's what we going to do. We going to have a good time. We going to drink a little bit, maybe puff a little bit, but we going to kick it a whole lot. So get geek this homecoming week. But now that that's out the way, you know where you are. You are at Holla at the homie, the number one spot for advice, whether online or in person. But I like to tell people all the time, I give my disclaimer. I've never been trained, even in my days at Tennessee State University. I only had one psychology class. I've never been trained to be a psychologist, a psychiatrist, and or a counselor. But what I have done is I've lived a very, very, very colorful life. And in that colorful life, I done scooped up some gems and sponged up some game. So what I do now is I squeeze it back to y'all over the airwaves. What's going on, JE2229? What's going on, Silver Wilson? But that's all we're going to do out here. So I'll never tell people what to do. I just give you options of what can be done. So we're going to do it. With that being said, we're going to dive straight into today's letter, and it goes a little something like this. Dear Holla at the Homie, I never thought I'd be writing in, but here I am, stuck between guilt and freedom. I've been with my boyfriend for 3.5 years, and to be honest, there's nothing wrong with him. He's a good man, loyal, hardworking, and kind. He's never cheated, never mistreated me, and doesn't deserve to be hurt. The problem isn't him. It's me. Somewhere along the way, I just got tired. Not tired of him exactly, just tired of being in this relationship. It feels like we've hit a wall. I don't feel excited anymore. I don't feel connected. And for the first time in a long time, I just want to be by myself. But saying that out loud feels almost wrong. How do you break up with someone who's done nothing wrong to you? How do you explain to both families who've basically merged at this point that you're ending things just not because of drama, not because of cheating, or not because of fighting, but simply because your heart has changed? I can already hear the comments. Girl, you crazy. You'll never find another one like him. Why would you throw that away? And maybe they're right. Maybe I am crazy, but I also know I've been even crazier to stay where I don't want to be. I just don't know how to break it to him gently or to everyone else without being the villain in the story. Can you help me out? Signed, emotionally checked out, but still caring. Woo-wee. Man, have you ever? Man, see, so this one kind of hit close to home for me, because I had a relationship like this at one point. It was one, and it was nothing that anybody did wrong. It's just we kind of outgrew what we had at that point. But we'll dive more into that in a bit. Like I said, we right here at the spot where we talk about things that look perfect on paper, but they feel heavy on your spirit, right? Like I said, we read this letter from Emotionally Checked Out but Still Caring, and she's writing because she's been with her man for 3.5 years. And she feels like things aren't very exciting anymore, that they don't have any connection anymore. She said there's no drama, there's no cheating, nothing, no red flags. She's just tired of the relationship and wants to be alone. And when you come to a point like this, first things first, if you recognize it, that's a big up to you to be able to recognize that there isn't anything wrong, because what we as human beings do, especially when dealing with relationships and dealing with the heart, we a lot of times fabricate things that are issues. We create things that seem like problems, and then those become festering issues that have been created out of nowhere. It's almost like sorcery, right? It's almost like we've said, throw in some witch's brew, stir 5 times in a bat of an ear. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like we've done that because we're creating something, because we can't understand why is it that we don't have the feeling that we had before. It always boils down to the feelings, right? It always boils down to how do we feel, not only about someone, but about a situation, right? So, because the thing about it is like this, right? In the public eye, they're going to say if nobody's to blame, then it's you that's to blame. What's up, Sapphire Gardner? Glad you made it through your surgery home, girl. I can't wait to see you. But like, it's if it's the public eye is going to say, what's up, DJ Quinn? If there's nobody's to blame, then the person who's bringing this situation about is the one that's to blame. And that's to the public eye. Because listen, the hardest breakup to explain to anyone, is one that doesn't come with a villain. Most of the time we got, but girl, he cheated on me, or man, she just don't do the things that she used to do, or, it's always a villainous activity or something that may have caused the downward spiral of the relationship. But to try to explain a breakup to people where it doesn't have one of those arcs, where the arc where it's kind of still up here at the top, where everything is still hunky-dory, as people say, or everything is still rainbow and sunshine on the outside looking in. But what's up, Femtress Gray? I hope to see you this weekend too. Another tiger in the building. What's up, Sherry Berry? So that's the thing. Like, so when you don't have anyone to blame, when you don't have anyone to point the finger at, then all of those fingers are pointing right back at you, because it's me, myself, and it's I. It has to be, right? That's what you start to thinking. When there is no cheating, when there's no arguing, there's no he did me dirty, it's none of that. Folks look at you like you lost your mind. You tell somebody, I just don't feel it anymore. And they look at you like, what do you mean you don't feel it? Girl, feelings are optional. Feelings are optional, because then at that point, you're going to run across somebody who's out here who's, settling. And this is you choosing not to settle. I'm always going to be on both shoulders. I'm always going to be on your left shoulder, right shoulder, giving you the devil's advocate, angel's advocate of the situation, right? So, but it's always going to be somebody out there who's settling and who's probably miserable and would love to have what you have from the outside looking in. But I'm going to get to the other side of it as well and soon. But this is them looking at you. The truth is, staying in a relationship out of guilt or comfort is not fair to either one of y'all. Would you say good person does not equal good partner? And that's you hit the nail on the head right there, Sherry Berry. You hit the nail on the head. Just because they're a good person, it doesn't make them a good partner. Me and my wife were talking about somebody like that. Not talking about somebody. We were just discussing them. On the outside, they seem like an amazing person, but I can imagine it being difficult being with them through certain situations, just because, that's just an exterior. Some people put on that facade, and some people are truly good people. They just don't make the right partner for each other. We all have terms that we serve, right? So like leaving without explanation, or staying with guilt, staying because of guilt, or staying because you're comfortable, that's not fair to either side of the relationship. Neither heads nor tails turns out positive from you doing any of those things. You don't owe anybody a story that makes sense to them. That's the thing. Everybody wants you to make it make sense to them. They want you to be like, girl, you done lost your mind. Or man, what's wrong with you, dog? She the best thing going. To your eyes. And again, they may be this amazing person that they are explaining, and you're not creating anything that's bringing them down. You're not creating anything that's tearing them down as a person. It's just something that's inside of this relationship where the spark is not being lit in some areas that are of importance to this person. And again, to stay because you feel guilty for not wanting to leave them, or to stay because you're comfortable in a situation, not because you're growing in a situation, it doesn't turn out right for either side. It's not fair to either side. The only one that's honest for you is the way that the decision that should be made. That's the decision you're trying to get. The one that feels honest and truthful to you. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Like the one that feels on the inside like, yeah, you probably right, other self. Because a lot of us do that. We talk to ourselves in the mirror. We break it down, be like, man, what am I thinking? Is this the right person? Should I be with her? Should I be with him? We ask ourselves these things, right? So now when you finally do all the pluses and the minuses, the positives and the negatives, then you finally get a chance to kind of see what weighs more. We in Libra season, right? Utilize your scales in relationships. Put some stuff on each side. And what does that Libra scale tell you? Is it balanced? Is it heavy on the got to get out of here? Or is it heavy on the man, you need to stay? Which one is it? Which one is it? But it's up to you to kind of break that down and to decide what's best for you. What feels the most honest and true to you. You've written me this letter, right? And I appreciate every bit of it. But you have to understand, after I'm done talking and after my online colleagues are done talking, then what you're going to have to do is have that conversation not only with yourself, but with your man as well. Because here's the truth. Again, like I said, staying out of comfort is painful in the end. One thing that people cannot put a price on, and I don't care how hard you try or think the things, if you buy them, are going to bring you this, there is no price tag attached to peace of mind. There's no way that you can put a price tag because it's priceless. And if there was a way I can say, if I give somebody $1,000 right now, I can have peace within my mind, I'd pay it 10 times over a day. I'd pay it 10 times over a day. Because peace of mind is priceless. People forget that just your peace can be a reason for the breakup. Because right now you got tumult. There's tumultuous thoughts going through your brain right now, right? There's things tossing and turning, having you trying to get a better grasp and grip on what exactly is going on. What's going on, Chanel Dumas? Exactly what's happening. You got to try to figure out. So right now there's no peace within your mind. So leaving to get that peace can be worth it in itself. Can be the price to pay, can be a reason for it. Because people are going to ask you, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with him? And if you can't give them a reason and be like, well, ain't nothing wrong with him. I'm just tired of being with him. And everybody doesn't understand that because they haven't taken a chance to actually realize what that feels like to them, or they've never been presented with a reason to. Not saying like, oh, everybody need to catch up, mustard. No, I'm just saying like if people haven't had a reason to evaluate their peace being a reason to move on from something, then in that regard, they either not going to understand you or they should withhold their information as far as like what you should do or their judgments. If that makes sense, I hope it does. Because peace can be a reason to leave. You don't need chaos just to justify you wanting some change. I've told people before that, you're a flaw fisherman. People fish for flaws. They want to be able to get a cognizant understanding of why something occurred, right? They want to be able to finally put their finger on something, to grasp what it is, so they'll fish for a flaw. And if this person doesn't have any that would, typically lead to this type of behavior, then people on the outside looking in are going to question it. They're going to ask, okay, what am I missing? What is not occurring? Again, you don't need chaos to justify wanting change. Sometimes, just think of it like this. Sometimes in a book, sometimes a movie, a TV show, a chapter just ends quietly, and that's okay. Now, I'm not saying like a Sopranos ending where it ended dumb. I'm mad at that ending still. Just like I'm mad at the ending on the movie Him, but nevertheless, I digress. Like, it's not one of those type of things, right? I'm more talking about, like, what does it make sense to continue to harp about why you left or why it ended? Sometimes it just ends. Fade to black. Wouldn't we all want fade to black moments in areas that we were faced with chaos in our mind or unpeaceful times in our mind? We want to be able to just fade to black without, being no final fade to black. Speaking of, rest in peace, D'Angelo. R.I.P. D'Angelo, man. That album came out my senior year. His Brown Sugar album debuted my senior year in high school. So imagine being a senior in high school, a weed smoker, and Brown Sugar. Come on, man. And you thinking you a Mac Daddy, thinking you can sing. That's when I thought I could sing too, boy. You couldn't tell me nothing in high school. I used to sing Boys to Men at the rallies and stuff. I'm talking about, I used to think I had a voice, boy. You couldn't tell me a thing. Probably still can't in the karaoke bar, but R.I.P. to D'Angelo, man. Again, F cancer. I say that emphatically with a that's my next tattoo. I can't wait to find I'm looking for a black tattoo artist. Nothing against anybody else. It's just, I just want to give to us. You know what I mean? I just want to be a black tattoo artist to get me a cancer tattoo. And, and I want that. And I believe that they'll be able to feel my vision as well. So if anybody out there know any of those, especially somebody that know them out this weekend, I'll get it this weekend. So anybody in Nashville know me a good black tattoo artist, let me know. And again, nothing against my other artists. It's just, I know what I want. You dig? So anyway, speaking of black, fade to black is what we were talking about, right? You want to be able to fade to black sometimes in these situations. You want to be able to just, that was yesterday. Now I'm looking forward to tomorrow, But now I got to flip to the other shoulder. As far as breaking it to him, that is going to require, for lack of better phraseology, tenderness. Would you say, big up to you? Sometimes lovers need a holiday. Just be honest. You could get back together later. There you go. That's a good answer to Kari Kofi. You know what I'm saying? Say sometimes lovers need a holiday, a little vacation. And again, when you break it to him, it's going to take some tenderness. You don't got to drop the whole, like, it's not me, it's not you, it's me, or like, something that you pulled out a rom-com script, right? That's how they always do. It's really not you, it's me. Don't start any speech off with that. I'm telling you, as a man don't want to hear that. When you hit me with that, you as what the kids call it nowadays, that's cap. What's up, Azarel? Llámame, baby. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's what the kids call cap, right? It's not you, it's me, But the thing about it is, you want to be able to be real. Y'all been together 3.5 years. That right there, that let me know, like, what's going on anyway? Y'all ain't married, nothing. I mean, everybody want to get married. It's okay. But if you've been together 3.5 years, that's halfway through the 7-year changing phase. They say you molt into somebody different every 7-year cycle, right? Trust me, I know I just been through 7 years of marriage right now. So you molt into somebody different in every 7-year cycle of your life, meaning like this relationship is a cycle in your life. As a parent, you get a cycle in your life. So as your kid turns 7, 14, things like that. Not saying like every 7 years in your life you change, but every phase of your life has a 7-year incubation period to where it changes and molts into something else. She put it back. Yeah, my baby. And that's what it's all about. Sometimes, like, you want to be real. Tell him that you care. Make sure you tell him that, that I rocks with you, but my heart is just in a different place. You see what I'm saying? So like when your heart is in a different place, if you break it down to him like that, then that'll maybe help him understand a little bit. Because men, what's up, Be Real 227? Most of the time we think with both our heart and our head, but if you tell us that your heart is somewhere different, then that lets us know that it's not the thoughts that are in your head. It's not somebody talking in your ear. It's just somewhere in you that's growing in a different direction. Be clear. Make sure you clear, make sure you calm, and make sure you firm with it though. Like don't beat. Y'all know how I am about beating around the bush. Don't beat. If you got something to tell somebody, Kevin Hart said it best in his stand-up. He says his uncle used to say it with your chest. Say it. What he mean by that is say it wholeheartedly. Let that shit out. Be firm. Don't go cussing him out like I'm just tired of being with you. But be firm. Like, look, like my heart is in a different place. I appreciate these years that we've had and, the growth that we've had together is just I'm growing in a different direction, with my heart. And I believe that right now by myself, I could have a better understanding of what I'm looking for. Have some words like that for him, because soft honesty still, that still beats dragging it out. Like if you give some soft honesty instead of just beating him over the head with it, it beats dragging it out until the resentment sets in, because that's what's going to happen. I guarantee you. If y'all don't address it, if you don't address it, if y'all don't address it, if it's not spoken about, if it's not clearly and concisely dissected, then the resentment is going to kick in. I guarantee it. Exactly. And that's what you don't want, because that's the one, like Dakari Kofi, what Royal Nelson say, true self-assessment. Okay, see it popped it up for me, please. Yeah, it said true self-assessment or personal inventory. All right, there it is. True self-assessment and personal inventory is conducive to a patient and appreciation for a partner if they're at least solid. I mean, you choose them. And that's the truth. You do. And like you say, and Dakari, you're right. Be clear, Dakari. You know what I'm saying? Understanding is not another guy. That's the main thing. That's the main thing. You gotta let him understand. It's not somebody else. It's not that I want somebody else. It's not that I want to be somewhere with somebody else. Be clear, helping him understand that this is just about you being with you and finding what it is, the new you. And help him understand like the new you comes from being with him. Like that's where a lot of times where people really get resentful after a relationship is over, because they be like, well, I built this person and now they gonna give this to somebody else. Oh, you say, oh yeah, oh, they can design it for me? That's what I'm talking about. See, that's what I'm talking about, Sherry Berry. There we go. I need that. And my birthday twin too. Yep, I need that. Tattoos. Get me together. But that's what I'm talking about as far as like, you got to be clear with this man. Let him know it's not about another guy. And that this new me is thanks to part of being with you. That's where people get upset, when people don't want to acknowledge that some of their growth came from being with the person that they just, what's up, Hella Adrian? The person that they just left and the person that they are no longer with. That's where the biggest resentment comes from. Because if you acknowledge the fact like, hey, together, I grew with you and I'm thankful for that. You taught me how to love differently. You taught me how to love myself differently. But now at this point, it's time for me to do that independently. Acknowledge the fact that you learned and you were appreciative of this relationship. Because even if you don't think that you are, you writing this letter lets me know that you learned how to love with him and how to try to find a way to love without him. So you're learning constantly from being in this relationship. Miss Emotionally Checked Out but still caring. You know, you got to understand that. So take your lessons, use those lessons, and grow from them. Because it's about that growth. Like, you know, because again, you're going to get to the family. The family going to be like, they going to talk. The family going to talk. His family, your family, everybody going to talk. Let's just accept that part right now. His mama going to be mad at you. Your auntie going to have an opinion. Like, you know, cousin Cheryl going to be like in the group chat, like she lost a good man. What's up, D Wills? You know what I mean? So all these things are going to occur. But guess what? They not the ones who have to live with your decision every day. They're not the ones who have to deal with whether you stay and you start to resent yourself for staying, or you start to resent this man for not changing into the person you want him to change into, and you've stayed now. So that's the thing. You don't want that resentment to come from either side, from you or from him. Forget the family, not forget the family, you know, not middle finger to the family, but don't worry. Don't put so much weight on what the family will think. That's what I need people to understand. Don't put so much weight on cousin Cheryl's opinion, because she's the one, not the one that has to deal with this everyday decision. She is not the one. You are. He is. Y'all are together have to deal with this decision every day that you let it linger on. So break it down, you know? If you know it isn't, put it like this. If you know you're somewhere you don't want to be, right? Then to leave that place is not a selfish act. That's not a selfish act. You know, what's up, you dear Gutierrez? What's going on with you, yaddy dotty? You know what I'm saying? It's not a selfish act. In fact, it's more responsible than anything else. Because if you think about it, it's not about you. It's about y'all that you're making this decision for. Because you told me in your letter right here, it says, there's nothing wrong with me. I mean, there's nothing wrong with him. It's just somewhere along the way, you just got tired. And not tired of him exactly, just tired of being in this particular relationship. So like Dakari Kofi said, y'all may get back together one day, especially if you have this type of honesty. He says sometimes relationships need a little bit of a holiday, a little bit of a break from each other. If things aren't growing in the same way that either of y'all wanted to grow in, right? If they're not, then it's okay to step away. That's like saying like you need FMLA from your job because mentally you not checking in right now. Because mentally right now you not giving them your all. So you file for FMLA. So that's all you doing with your boyfriend. You filing for FMLA. Find me later, all right? You know, F with me later, all right? You know, that's what that FMLA stand for, because you're not running away from him. You're not pushing him away. You've just grown in a different direction. So now you need this FMLA from him. You need that break. Because in the end, you're saving both of y'all time. You're saving both of yourselves some energy. And the biggest thing is you're saving yourselves from future heartbreak. Meaning, like, because, okay, just I'm going to just be, throw some stuff against the wall, see what sticks. Say, for instance, you stay with this man, right? And you don't address this issue because you never know. He may be having similar thoughts. He may be like, this ain't growing. This ain't, he may be sitting in his man cave playing Madden all night because he ain't trying to be in bed with your ass. Anything. He could be thinking the same thing, right? So if you don't address it and you stay with this man, what if later on he come tell you, look, I got something to holler at you about, babe. I ain't really feeling this relationship no more. And now I've been hooking up with the neighbor. I'm just saying it could be anything. Now this heartbreak is coming from both of y'all, because in the front side of it, you could be breaking his heart in a way by letting him know, like, look, I've grown in a different direction in regards to love. Not saying I want to be with anybody else, but I just don't want to be with you anymore. I just want us to kind of like go our separate ways or what have you. And I wish you the best. That may break his heart. But on the backside, it may be like, look, I ain't been feeling this for some months, and I got a whole nother girlfriend and a whole nother family on the other side of town now. So I think addressing this head on is the opposite of selfish. I think it's responsible. Because the biggest reminder that you may receive here is that you can love someone. I mean, you can really, really love somebody and know in your heart that they're not your forever. Like I said, I've been through a relationship like this before, where it was literally nothing wrong with the woman. Nothing wrong with her. But I had to break it down to her and tell her, like, I just don't think, what's up, killer? I just don't think that things are growing any further with it. I think we've reached our peak. I think that's what I told her. I think we reached our peak in this relationship. And she asked me, like, what do you need by that? Would you say she need to see the clip Deion Cole relationship regrets? And that's another thing. To see, Sherry Berry put it on there for you. Check that clip out. I think I told her, I said, I think we've reached our peak. And she's like, what do you mean by that? I was like, we've been on the up, but it's kind of gotten stagnant right where it is. And there's nothing that either of us have done to make it get stale. I just think that we've reached the amount of space and capacity that we have to grow with one another. And there it is. We wasn't together anymore. She went her way. I went mine. We still can say hi in the streets if I see her. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I'm calling her wishing happy birthday or anything like that, but if I see her in the streets, I'm a chunk deuce. How's life? Because again, I think any relationship I've been in, I can always, I haven't burned any bridges, I don't believe. And this is a way to help you prevent from burning this bridge, Miss Emotionally Checked Out but Still Caring. Because the thing word in your name, it says, but still caring. You care. You care about his feelings. You care about what this is going to do to him, to y'all, what this is going to do to y'all merged families. So you still care, but you are emotionally checked out. And to be emotionally checked out and to physically stay with somebody, that's cheating in a way. Because you're cheating them out of the best opportunity to have to be completely happy. And you're cheating yourself out of the best opportunity to have for complete happiness. If you are complacent or if you settle for something, anytime you settle for something, you never got what you wanted. You're just okay with it. Like if you get a meal at a restaurant, right? And it's not exactly what you thought it was going to be, but you eat it anyway, you settled. You didn't get what you wanted. You just stuffed yourself. You filled yourself by settling. So I'm just asking everybody, like, this is an opportunity right now to send your plate back. This is an opportunity for you right now. You've had this plate for 3.5 years. And I'm pretty sure some different things have been on it. What's going on, Tippy-O? I'm pretty sure some different items have been removed and added. But this is your chance to turn it back in, to return your plate, return to sender. Would you say that's tough? Most relationships are seasonal. We all need to recognize that. And that's the thing. That's the main word, seasonal, Dak. That's the word. You put a word out there right there. What's up, Mira Danae? Hey, Sweet Pea. You put a word out there. A lot of relationships are seasonal, and that's not just talking about our romantic relationships. You got business relationships that are seasonal. You've got friendships that are seasonal. And it's not saying there's anything wrong with the people with whom the season you are changing from. Just like the leaves on the tree, right? Every fall, that's why they call it fall, because they're going to fall off. But they'll regenerate. So don't think of them as like you just shaking people out of your life and you're never going to be covered and filled again in that way. No, you're just clearing yourself of things that no longer serve the betterment of you, of your growth. What's up, Leo? Yeah, I cut it off, dog. I cut it all off, man. But that's the thing. Like, if someone's no longer serving your growth, if something is no longer, what up, Kita Boo? Something is no longer serving your growth, then it's time to shed that. Snakes shed skin. That don't mean they die. You understand what I'm saying? That just means they're growing. That means they're gathering new things. That means now they're giving themselves an opportunity to be different than what they were. They're still the same person. You're still the same person, but you've grown. And you get a chance to show that by shedding your skin, by shedding this relationship. You've grown now. And again, that might be the biggest reminder that you can love someone and know that they are not your forever. Even though that hurts to acknowledge, it hurts to recognize, it hurts to say out loud sometimes. But it sometimes feels better to have an understanding of that coming out of it. Because what that does is that dissipates and minimizes the resentment that you have for any situation that you think. There it is. That's a good one, Leo. He said, I think it's called turning a new leaf. And that's exactly what you're doing. You're turning a new leaf. Thank you for that old proverb, Leo. Good looking out, homie. You know? And that's what it's all about. I love when the homies check in on here. Like, that's what it's all about. I love my online colleagues, the online homies, because I love that y'all have an opinion on what's going on what's happening, because we're all human. We've all gone through similar situations. I'm pretty sure, Dakari, Sapphire Gardner, Royal Nelson, Mira Dene, Sherry Berry, Leo, Kita Boo, somebody on here, Femtress Grace, somebody on here has had a relationship or a friendship or a partnership that they feel that they've outgrown, or they feel is outgrowing them. Because I'm not the only one who's been doing the outgrowing. It's people that have outgrown me. And I think the reason I was able to have that conversation was because someone had a similar one with me prior to that. Like, yeah, it was fun while it lasted type thing. Mine came across a little more harsh. What's up, Inch Ma? Sadiq. Mine came across a little more harsh when they delivered it to me. That way I was able to deliver mine with a little more kid glove, because I didn't really appreciate how harsh that Band-Aid rip was. Because like I said to you before, Miss Emotionally Checked Out But Still Caring, you don't have to go in on him. It's going to take some tenderness to tell this man this. But I also said he may be having similar thoughts. I want us to all understand, if we're thinking something, then a lot of the times people that we're dealing with may be thinking something too. I love y'all too, Sherry Berry. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody may be thinking the same thing you are, especially if y'all dwell together. If y'all live together and all these kind of things, y'all may be feeling some things similarly. Like, for instance, if I got all sisters, right? And so, wife, daughters, all this kind of stuff. If women are in the house for an extended period of time, even they cycles sync up. So what I mean by that is, if you're in the house with this man and you're having these thoughts, then probably your thoughts are synced up together as well with his. He may be thinking something's a little bit off as well. So it's perfect timing to bring it to the table. I'm glad you brought it to me. I appreciate you bringing it to me, because not only me and my online homies can help you out, but it also helps me understand that, that these thoughts don't just run through my mind. They run through other people's as well. Like I said, you're saving yourself through this responsibility from future heartbreak. You're saving yourselves time, and you're saving yourselves some energy. It may be homecoming week for some of y'all, like it is for us. You may need all the energy you got, But so you think about it is, you can walk away gracefully, and knowing that this relationship ran its course. You know what I'm saying? What'd you say? Like Dak said, is some things are seasonal. It's run its course. And you can walk away gracefully and prepared for whatever's next. That's what I want everybody to understand from this letter in itself, because it's not just about love relationships. It's about knowing when you've outgrown any relationship. And it's not, and a lot of times people be like, well, what do you mean you outgrew me? Not saying that I'm better than you or I'm bigger than you. I've just grown outwardly. Not that I've grown at a faster rate. What's going on, Renee Hannah? Not that I've outgrown you in that way. I've just grown outwardly away from you in regards to this particular relationship. And that's all it really is. The recognition helps remove the resentment. You understand what I'm saying? So, like, you can be ready for what's next. So, to my girl, emotionally checked out but still caring, don't beat yourself up. Do not beat yourself up. I want you to be like, exactly, we're growing in different directions. Like my analogy with the growth thing, right, is like with trees. You can plant an evergreen and a redwood right next to each other. They'll both grow. They'll both be there. But once the evergreen gets to a certain point, he's going to stop growing. But he's going to continue to stay fruitful and do what his purpose in his life is, right? Now, where the redwood's going to go, do. Now, he may not be able to last through the winters like the evergreen will. But again, I'm not saying that they are growing, that one is outgrowing the other as far as he's better than, or you're better than that person. You're just growing in different directions. The sunlight for my life is coming from this side, where yours is coming from that side. So now we gonna part like that. I gotta eat. I gotta feed what's missing over here. You need to feed what's missing on your side. So it's okay to grow in different directions. I got 3 plants in the same window right now, and they all growing in different directions. You think they upset with each other? I don't. They just happy to be growing. And I think if a lot of us, what's up, DJ Do Wrong? I think if a lot of us understand that it's okay for others to grow on their own, in their own pace. It's okay for others to grow at the direction in which they're headed. And because if you think about it, if I'm worried about how you're growing, I'm stunting my own growth because I'm focused on, well, what are they doing? What are they doing? What are they doing? What's going on, AC New Name? What are they doing? And now I'm stunting my own growth because I'm not focused on feeding what it is that I need. My photosynthesis ain't taking process because I'm blocking the sun. I'm trying to throw shade or figuring out I'm standing over them. So I'm shading their growth and I'm stopping my own because I'm watching them instead of looking in the direction I need to be looking to where I'm supposed to grow. So again, emotionally checked out, but still caring. Do not beat yourself up. You're just growing. And one thing about growth, it does not always look romantic. Sometimes it just looks like quiet courage. What's up, love yourself, Danny? Tigers all throughout this thing today. Sometimes it just means that quiet courage has taken its place in your life. And with that, you can be able to say, all right, I'm okay with addressing this issue head on, that, yes, I do love this man, but I don't love being with him anymore. Yes, I do love this friendship. Yes, I do love this business relationship. Yes, I do love this partnership, but I just don't love how, the growth that I'm getting from it anymore. And it doesn't mean that somebody did something wrong. It just means that you recognized how and where you are growing. Okay? So again, y'all, that's my 2 cents on this subject and this situation. And, and I hope that anybody out there that's going through something similar, whether, again, it may not be a romantic relationship, it may be something that you're dealing with. You may want to change babysitters or something. I love how you've been there for the kids, but, I just think that they'll grow more if they were, somewhere else. I think y'all reached the peak. Recognizing reaching your peak and addressing it, because sitting back on it, just letting it fester, is going to do nothing but build resentment. It's going to build disdain for one another, and it's going to build a gap in between the people in which are involved in it. Okay. So if you've ever been in one of those good on paper relationships, drop some tags in here, drop your stories or something like that. Put the comments in, let people tap in with you as well. To my homegirl, what's her name? Emotionally checked out but still caring. Thank you for writing the letter, and I hope you took some of this in with you, and you're gonna utilize it in the best of your ability. Al Rich, what's up with you, Superman of the Car Biz? I'm gonna see you tomorrow, dog. And to all my people that's coming down to the land of gold and sunshine, safe travels to y'all. I'm gonna holler at y'all when we get there. Until I breathe in y'all direction again, take care of yourselves and take care of each other. I'm 360 the Poet. I'm gonna holler at y'all in a minute.
Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. High 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7 on high 702.5fm.com.